Well, thank you for tuning into the Zelos Podcast. I'm your host, Rocky Snyder. This week, Reggie Stephens is in the house with me. Reggie used to play for the New York Giants, originally from kind of Louisiana and then Santa Cruz. Now he's back to our neighborhood and doing a whole bunch of good for our community. But before we get underway, remember you can go to my website, rockysnyder.com, for continuing education, in-person courses coming up, as well as online courses that you can take. Whether you're an athletic trainer, physical therapist, strength coach, personal trainer, heck, if you're a chiropractor in California, we've got continuing education for you. Plus podcast archives. This is, by the way, the 250th episode of the Zelos Podcast, so I'm glad to have Reggie on here. And now just let's hear from our sponsors. This episode of the Zelos Podcast is sponsored by Kinetic IQ, where intelligence meets motion. Kinetic IQ brings a biomechanics lab into the palm of your hand, letting you measure movement anytime, anywhere, with just an iPad or an iPhone, and no wearables required. I've been using Kinetic IQ's markerless motion capture in my own practice, and whether you're screening athletes, analyzing posture and gait mechanics, optimizing performance, or guiding return to play, it helps practitioners like us save time, capture more objective data, and make instant actionable decisions. So to learn more about how Kinetic IQ is shaping the future of intelligent movement, visit them at kinetikiq.com. That's KINETIKIQ.com. You know, I can't tell you how thrilled I am to have Metabolic Elite be one of the sponsors of the Zelos Podcast. You know what makes Metabolic Elite different is their commitment to real results. I've seen a lot of supplements and performance enhancement things over the years, but they pair clinical experience with innovation, like Lipitab, their proprietary solid-state liposomal delivery system. It's a chewable format which enhances absorption like nutrients like BPC 157 and synapses. They're delivered more efficiently in the body, supporting recovery, focus, cognitive health. Their formulas go beyond the basics, solving performance health challenges at the system level. Every product is tested for quality, it's backed by research, and trusted by athletes and clinicians alike. So learn more at metabolicelite.co. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Rocky_Snyder. And tell a few friends about this podcast. Click subscribe, let them do the same. Enjoy the show. Oh, Reggie, first, thanks for coming on Zelos Podcast. You know, we were able to meet in person a couple of weeks ago at the Women's Coaching Alliance event that happened in San Carlos. It was really great to sit down and chat with you, but little did I know we're living in the same town. So this is good to have you on. We're going to have a great conversation.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure to be on. It was a pleasure to hang out with you, get to know a little bit more about you. So, I'm excited, for a lot of things that's happening with myself and RSF. And shoot, man, I'm excited to be on this podcast.
Definitely. Okay, we'll bring in your foundation for sure. I want to highlight that. And we'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff. But first, the listening audience, give them an idea. Reggie Stephens, of course, we know hey, you got into the NFL, but give us your superhero story, like how you got to play with the Giants and yeah, all that.
Yeah, it was I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana, moved here in 1990. I think it was like right after the earthquake, because I remember coming here and the downtown was kind of broken up, and I was like, man, what's going on? My uncle had lived here in the early 80s. He took me on the wharf. I didn't like that because it was like, hey, this don't seem sturdy, man. Like it seemed like we're gonna fall right in the water. But yeah, it was the summer, and the summer led to a lot of things for where I'm at today. I was on my bicycle riding over there, and I saw some kids playing. They're playing football, and they were right in the football training and training camp. I remember one of the kids, Donald Keller, came over and he was like, hey man, you want to play? I was like, I just moved here, so I'm gonna go home and ask my mom and my dad, can I play? And the next day I was there. I didn't even have cleats. I was in running shoes. I had some Bo Jackson cross trainers, and I was running.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I messed them up too, man. They were fresh out the box, got grass stains all on them. I was super upset about that, but I was happy to be around some people in Santa Cruz that I never knew, and I just had met them. So that transition led to me hanging out with a lot of the kids in the summer. And then obviously school starts, and then everyone knows me because I'm already on the football team. And and the funny thing is everyone in Louisiana called me Dwayne, Dwayne Stevens. And then my real name is Reginald. And I remember Miss Menace, my teacher at Santa Cruz High School, when she was taking roll, she was like, "Is Reginald here?" I'm like, "Well," I raised my hand. She goes, "You mind if I call you Reggie?" And then from there on, I was Reggie Stephens. And
Really?
yeah, yeah, and they would call my mom. The school or friends would call, and she'd be like, "Don't know Reggie live here." It was funny. Why you tell those people your name is Reggie? I was like, "Oh no, mom, it is what it is." And the next thing you know, it's like I had this different name when I moved. So when Santa Cruz High did three sports, basketball, football, track, was on a CCS finalist team, that went 10-0 with some other guys that played in the NFL, Brendan Amadejio, and then I went to college with Jermaine Robinson to Rutgers Division I school. And then from there, I went to Cabrillo. The reason I went to Cabrillo, didn't have the grades. I had like pretty much every school recruiting me, UCLA, USC, all of them. Didn't have the grades. Went there, played for Coach Cox. Went to school 3 years at Cabrillo. First year, I gray shirted. Gray shirt is when you take 11 units and you're not a full-time student. You take 12 units, your clock starts. So Frank Lynch, Trent Dilfer's stepdad, basically told me about that because he wanted to
Right
make
on.
sure we graduated, got our 60 units so we can move on. So very grateful for his information. Coach Cox didn't like that very much, but because he wanted us on the field. And then from there, I got a full ride scholarship to Rutgers University, where Terry Shea was the head coach, a West Coast guy, coached at Cal, coached at San Jose State, brought in a bunch of junior college players. Went there. I was a Homer Hazel MVP in 2 years. Played in the East West Shrine game. Um, was a turnaround team in the nation. First year I was there, we were 0-11. Then I helped turn the team around to be 5-6. Missed out on a bowl game, and then from there, New York Giants. I was a street free agent. A street free agent is a free agent that really you don't even get the free agency after the draft. So a street free agent got $1,000 signing bonus. Basically, my coach called up, got me an opportunity, got in a training camp, made the team. How did I make the team? Had a trainer by the name of Raymond Ferris, Hall of Fame trainer, Jerry Rice's only trainer. So I was training with him at Stanford that summer before I went to the Giants. So I was getting up at 6 a.m., driving over to Stanford, getting there, jump out the car, work out. Then I would come back to Santa Cruz and I would do a bunch of things, here locally at certain gyms and whatnot. And then, once and went to a Super Bowl in my second year. I went to a Super Bowl in my second year. And on that team, the Giants, I was second on the team in special teams tackles and interceptions. Which helped us get to the Super Bowl. Played the Ravens in 2000. We lost to them. I think it was 35-10. It was a lopsided game. And then from there, kind of bounced around a little bit more in the NFL. And then I went to go play arena football in Nashville, played 2 years there. Reason I signed in Nashville because I had a music background. So Tim McGraw was the minority owner. So I was like, hey, man, I'm going to go over here and see if I can get a record deal later on. And sure enough, that's what I was able to do. After I played 2 years arena, I got a record deal with
You
David Huff and moved to Los Angeles and did that for a while. And I still kind of work in the music industry. And then now that led me to coming back to Santa Cruz, coaching for 14 years, Scotts Valley, now at Soquel, and running my nonprofit that I've been running since 2018.
Oh my gosh, dude, I had no idea. First of all, we got here to Santa Cruz from East Coast or Gulf Coast about the same time. I think you beat me by about 3 months. I got here, yeah, October 90 and pretty much
Mhm.
stayed, And for those that are listening, Cabrillo College is our local community college or junior college, our JUCO here in Santa Cruz County. I actually live right on the edge of campus there. And I had I had no idea. We've had so many athletes do quite well out of Santa Cruz. Trent Dilfer, of
Mhm.
course. Wait, was Trent
He was in the
on
Super
that
Bowl.
team?
Yeah. And
You
Brendan
you got
and Femi Amadejio, they were both on the Ravens. And then I was on the
no.
Giants. We had three people from Santa Cruz in the Super Bowl at one time. And it
That's
was like
right.
the most craziest thing. And I remember the press on it wasn't even that much. And I was just like,
No.
do you know how crazy this is that we're three people from two from Santa Cruz High School and one from Aptos is in the Super Bowl.
That
And
is crazy.
yeah, and it wasn't, it just I don't even know if anybody was covering it, but I just know it wasn't as dramatic as it should have been because that don't happen. That doesn't happen a lot.
No.
I don't know if it's ever happened. Maybe we were the first ones to ever do that. I don't know. I would have to check the history books. I just remember I got covered a lot more in Shreveport, Louisiana, where I was from, because that was a big deal. I'm from a small little town. They
Yeah.
blew it up. And I always look at press as, there's going to be some other kid, male, female athlete that in 10 years, 20 years, that might be in a situation like that. So, especially coming out of small town like Santa Cruz, it's a big deal. Anytime any athlete comes out of here and do anything, just because of our resources that we have.
Yeah, honestly. Well, and for you to come back here, it speaks volumes too. But okay, coach, how is it that before you became a coach, like you were just you kind of playing at Santa Cruz High, and then you tell us this whole journey, and then in a heartbeat, you're with the Giants. Like, was that a goal when you first put on those Bo Jacksons and you started running around where you're like, I'm gonna go to the
Yeah,
NFL? Was that in your head?
that's a good question. No, not right, not immediately. I just remember growing up as a Cowboys fan because they kind of pushed it down our throats in Louisiana because the Saints weren't that good. So I would always think I was, some, football player for the Dallas Cowboys. Um, but it was a thing when I became, I would say, like a sophomore, my junior year. I kind of fell in love with Marshall Faulk from San Diego State, and that was my dream school. I had two dream schools. It was San Diego State and Cal. That's where I wanted to go because that was my first football game I ever went to go watch. Russell White was the running back at the time. They had the "Roll on You Bears." I was like, man, this is a cool looking place. I like the uniforms, like the helmets, all that stuff. But it was something about Marshall Faulk. I did this, like, I read about him. He'd never had drink alcohol, just this pure, clean athlete, and I try to model myself after him. Had the cut off T-shirt, San Diego State. I wore it underneath my uniform, whatnot. But yeah, then from that point, I was like, I'm making it to the NFL. This is what I want to do. It's either that or music, because I was doing music and sports at the same time, and music has always been a good balance for me. Like if sports ain't going right, I always had the arts. And that was another thing, like a lot of people didn't know about me. I wasn't just an athlete. I was also an artist as well. So I had this thing that, I'd kind of drift off and be able to write music and hang with different type of kids at the school as well, different people with different personalities, which gave me a big balance. And Santa Cruz at the time had that. I had this whole niche
Yeah.
of people that I could go hang out with that were music producers, and one minute I'm over here with all the jocks, and then the next minute I'm over here with all the artists, and that was a great balance for me. But yes, I did know that I was going to make the NFL. It was just something that was this drive in me that I can do this, I can make it there. I'm talented enough to be able to get on that type of stage if I get the opportunity. And I was able to get the opportunity, and the Giants gave me the opportunity from my coach Terry Shea at Rutgers University.
Right on. Okay, so for a lot of guys, that's their dream in life is to make it to the NFL. Never mind the Super Bowl, which you also did, but you know, when you reach those goals that you aspired and you worked hard, you visualized, you did everything you could to reach that. What happens after? Like, how do you deal with life after professional sports?
Yeah, great question. I was lost for a while. I moved to Santa Monica, got this record deal, had it for about, a year, and then the label folded. And I was like, wow, man, another goal that I reached for, that I accomplished, then it was taken away just like that. And I felt like the NFL was taken away a little bit short for me just because of injuries. Is something that I couldn't control. and I gave it my best. I did it as long as I could do it, 6 years total of playing professional football. And after that, I just couldn't do it anymore because my body wouldn't allow me to do it. Then the music thing, something that I was working towards, it all presented itself. And I was like, wow, this is cool. I like this transition. And then that was taken away. And then I had to reinvent myself again. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to try coaching. Louis Walters from Scotts Valley gave me a coaching opportunity, and that literally opened up the door for everything. For the nonprofit, even music I was still doing. I do music with one of my best friends, Jason Williams from Ribsy's Nickel. We got another record deal, so I ended up getting another record deal for Cruisematic. It was more of a digital deal. And the same guy that produced me and signed me in Nashville, David Huff, I still work with him. So I still work in this music thing. I go to Mexico City. I work with a lot of artists in Mexico City, from Veracruz, Los Coalites. So my life is everything that I wanted it to be, but there was this gap of 2 years that it was really, really, really bad, really, really low. Like, where I'm gonna go, how I'm gonna do this. It was basically rock bottom. And I remember I would go to Aptos and walk the stairs every day, like every day, walk 25 stairs and just think,
Sea Cliff Stairs,
see
right at the
cliff,
beach there.
and just
That's
think.
150 wooden stairs that go from the beach up to the cliff. It's pretty
Yeah,
brutal. It's a good workout.
yeah. And I was so like at the bottom to where I was like, I have to figure this out. I moved back to Santa Cruz. My two kids were here. They were athletes. I needed to show up as a father for them because I had this life that was just like on the road all the time. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm back here, got to provide for them. It was a lot, as a ex-athlete, people looking up to you. And then I'm like, how do I reinvent myself? And literally coming back here. And the thing is, before I came back here, because I'm a big spiritual person, I saw 831 everywhere when I was living in LA. Everywhere I turned, wake up 831. It's 831, 831. And I'm like, I guess that's telling me to go back to Santa Cruz. And
That's
literally,
our area code. Yeah.
yeah, and literally it was the best thing that I probably ever did, because where I sit now, um, with everything that's happened and everything I've seen and still happening and still growing, and the support of the people that I have around me, um, has been amazing. So I would tell any person that retires, that's searching for something, it's in you, but it's right there. And that was the thing. I was searching for something that I didn't think was there, and it was there the whole time. And it was me, Reggie Stephens, RSF, sports, art, education, culture. And within that, I went back to school. I got my degree from Rutgers, got my bachelor's there. And then, and coming back to my mentor, Raymond Ferris, pushed me to go get my master's. Just got my master's in sports management from Utah State. And literally that whole thing was fly to Utah, then fly to Baltimore to get an award, a vision award, because I have a partnership with Morgan State through the nonprofit. And that weekend, I just kind of reflected on like, wow, I would have never thought I'd have a master's. I would never thought I'd have a partnership with a university. And it happened that way for me. Um, so that's kind of like when I look at the situation of just never giving up, and it happened for me. So
I
that's
love
how we got
that.
here. Yeah.
Okay. I love kind of exploring bottoms. We're at the lowest point we feel, and it's that dark hole where not a lot of light is
Hmm.
shining through. It feels that way. So if you could go back to that moment, and we don't have to harp on it too much, but I'm just
Yeah.
curious, like when you were at that state, when you were feeling that way, what was it that you began to crawl out of it? What was there a moment in time where you made a decision? Was it something that happened to you, or you saw something? Can you pinpoint any time that you just
Yeah.
like, that's it?
Yeah. It was the thing. I was fighting with the NFL. I was fighting with, like, because I had some really like bad things happen to me in the NFL, like post-traumatic brain things, all kinds of things. And I remember when I won my lawsuit, I was like, oh man, breath of like light. It's like, oh wow, this is my first win. But actually it wasn't my first win, but it was my first win after football. And I was
Mm.
like, this is all I need right here. This little breathing, this little crease to kind of go boom. And I got that, but I prayed, very spiritual person. And then I said, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work to give back to this community the way some people gave to me. Now, some people didn't give to me. Some people tried to hurt me, harm me while I was here. It wasn't always perfect. I can tell you that. And I just said I'm gonna put myself in some other kid's shoe that might be another Reggie or Brendan or Femi or any Trent or any of these kids that come through here that may need a mentor. And I said I'm gonna start coaching and I'm gonna give back. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know where I'm gonna get all the money to do it. And I had this big dream and this big plan to make sure that Santa Cruz County athletes, student athletes, didn't get looked over, because that was like a big deal of us getting looked over. But once that came, it all just kind of like hit me like what I needed to create. And I remember Christy Neto was like, you need to make a nonprofit. What are we gonna call it? I was thinking all these names. It's like, man, Reggie Stephens Foundation. And then it turned into RSF. Then it turned into Seek, Believe, Achieve. You seek it, you believe it, I help you achieve it, because that's who I am. I achieved so many different things with so many hurdles I had to go over. Um, and that's kind of like what it was. It just all like appeared of what I needed to do. And also music was a good balance. My best friend Jason, we did a lot of music together. That was a step of me climbing out of the hole, was me being very creative with music and following that dream. And then also stepping into my kid's life to do what I needed to do, helping my son get a Division I scholarship to Pepperdine for basketball. Then my daughter later on going to USC, doing what she needed to do. But my son was the catalyst for the All-Star game that's been rolling for we're on year 15. I created it with his group of friends, and I said, I'm going to keep it rolling, even though I don't have a kid in it anymore. Um, and that opened up the door. And then I was like, oh man, I got my son a scholarship because I know how to do this. Then the next thing you know, I got Quinn Brown from Santa Cruz High to Brown, Caleb Womack to San Jose State. And then I started to find this niche of like, wait a minute, I can use my NFL background to get kids in college. Then I started doing the emails and doing all the stuff and sending the tapes out and all that stuff. And that went into turned into like two players end up turning into 300 kids that run through the nonprofit. But I, I can vividly remember the very first kid that I would do this with or do that with, mental health, all this stuff. And that's when I was like, I'm out of the hole now because I know what I need to do. I know my purpose. And so that's kind of like how that happened. Because when people think Reggie Stephens Foundation, they just think sports, but they don't know that there's the arts to it. They don't know there's mental wellness. They don't know there's the story of me, uh, beating the odds of a bunch of different things happening, being a black man in Santa Cruz, predominantly a white area. Um, but that doesn't, especially from where I came from, and to come here and to supplant myself in a way that I can help bring a community together, if that makes sense, because
Totally.
yeah, and it was a trying time for me, but a lot of my supporters and a lot of my friends that I had, they were white and I'm black. So
Yeah.
my best friend Jason was white. So coming from Louisiana, I had to get over that too, and grow in that way. And I always speak on that because Santa Cruz has been really good to me, but also shown me, life is what it is, and you're gonna run into some things but I'm not gonna run away from those things either. I'm gonna take them. So when you ask me that question, those are all the things that went through my head of living here and being here and saying I'm going to make a difference. And the things that happen to me bad, I'm going to make sure that don't happen to another kid, whether I mentor that kid or whatever the situation is. And then I'm also going to bring kids from all different cultures together, because that's what it
I
was
love
for
it.
me when I moved here. There was, man, I had never seen um, Latino. I'd never seen it, and it was just like, whoa, this is different. My friends being white, hey, come in my house. Oh man, better go ask your mom and dad. Can I come in there? Because in Louisiana, we couldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so those are all the things I reflect on of where I'm at in Santa Cruz, and to have a foundation, and to be doing the work that I'm doing and bridging the gap of people and not looking at color or looking at anything or backgrounds or who you are, whatever, and making sure that I can be the best human I can be to help your daughter or your son get to the next level. That's what the healing part of me was for everything I went through in football and everything I went through in my life. That made me feel good internally. Um, and that's, you know, any parent that knows me, they know that about me because I kind of
I
wear it on
love
my
that.
sleeve a little bit. Yeah. So
Heck yeah, man. Yeah,
yeah,
Santa Cruz. I
you
mean,
had me digging deep on that because
I love that, dude.
it took me back to that place of like how RSF and the purpose behind RSF, you know. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh man, no, thank you. That was great. I know Santa Cruz, yeah, primarily white, but there's multicultural, mainly Hispanic, of course, migrant families or those that have settled here and so on. But okay, I got to share a little story with you. I hope you get a kick
Okay.
out of it. But well, I first of all, I grew up outside of Boston in northern suburbs, which are not very accepting. They're very racist communities, and then that's kind of the elements that I grew up with. So coming to Santa Cruz and having it be such a welcoming, open, for the most part, on
Yeah.
average, it's just like you feel it. There is there's very few borders and boundaries. And the more you live here, the more you're exposed to it. And it's amazing. So my daughter, who's now 23, finishing up her degree in athletic training up in Oregon, when she was just a kid, like I had the opportunity to read stories to both my kids when they were really young. It was like dad's time. We can give mom a break. She's been with them most of the day, and now I'm going to read stories and put you down at night. And my wife was a school teacher here in Santa Cruz. She taught elementary school over
Yeah.
in Scotts Valley, and so she had all these books for grade school, and a lot of them were like civil rights books. So I would read different books, but every now and then I'd read one on like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and so on. And my daughter, of course, I was surfing my brains out at the same time. So
Mhm.
and in the California sun, I was pretty darn tanned at the time, and she'd be like, "Daddy, I'm so grateful for Martin Luther King," and I'm like, "Why is that, honey?" Because you're able to eat in the same restaurant as mommy and me. I'm like, wow, that's really sweet of you. Yeah, okay. I didn't say anything. I'm like, okay. And then a little bit later, she would say, Daddy, I'm so grateful for Rosa Parks. I'm like, well, yeah, I am too. But why are you? Because I wouldn't exist. You wouldn't be able to marry mama. And I'm like, wow, okay. So mama is like my wife is like Snow White. She does not go out in the sun. And so obviously she had a different view
Different view.
of people, right? And I just love that my daughter's colorblind. To this day she's colorblind, and I love that, and it's something that a lot of us have strived toward being because of our backgrounds and so on. But anyway, I endear myself to the fact that she just didn't see anybody other than just who they were, and then trying to create difference, it just doesn't happen.
I
Anyway, I want to hear
appreciate you sharing that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
want to hear all about the foundation. Like you just gave us an insight, a little bit of like how you blend these things together, athleticism and the mental like skills and the
Yeah.
arts and so on. But like, what's your mission with the Reggie Stephens Foundation?
My mission is to take care of as many kids as I can while I'm here breathing, living, good health. Um, when I started it, I didn't know where it was going. I just, hey, we started with 46 kids, basketball program. The shield, the colors, Rutgers Scarlet Knights. That's what it represents. People don't know. Rutgers are scarlet,
Ah,
Scarlet Knights colors. And I was like, do I go with the Giants colors? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with where I went
oh
to.
no, don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
yeah. So I went with the Scarlet Knight colors, and I really took my time on how I wanted the logo to look. I took my time on what I wanted to stand for, to seek, believe, achieve. The sports art education is something that represents me. Sports, the arts. I love arts. The education. I went back to school, and then the culture side of it is, me going to Mexico City every year, doing performances, music, trying to, blend cultures and music and whatnot. And then I try to bring that back to Santa Cruz in a way of some kids that have never even left. Some kids never been on a plane, which that
Yeah.
leads me to Morgan State, where I take kids on HBCU tours. So I have something for everybody. in RSF, it's something for everybody, every culture, every, whether you're male, female. The biggest thing that today that I think we've done is that girls all-star game. I think we were the first one on Northern California to do flag. Santa Cruz versus Monterey. Santa Cruz won 13-7. Had a lot of good moments there with watching the young women get interviewed and saying, hey, I used to play in the backyard with my dad, and that was it. Now all of a sudden I'm playing flag, getting interviewed, playing in a real game. And that was big for me. I created that with Sunday Sessions. Sunday Sessions is something I do at Scotts Valley, 8 a.m. boys, 9 a.m. girls. It's through the year. What we do in that area is we work on speed and agility and leadership. So every week, every Sunday, a Pop Warner kid or a female athlete, or even a kid that may be playing college ball that comes back home for the weekend, they can pop in. But they have to run the first 15 minutes of the warm up. That's the leadership. Had this girl by the name of Sid Lally that went to Scotts Valley, now goes to Santa Cruz High School. She used to come in the summers with all the boys. And I go, I'm going to create your own space. And I created the space. And now that space has grown to be really, really big. And now we have these freshmen coming in, and now she's mentoring the freshmen. And it's a big deal for freshmen to come to us, because now when they get ready to go to high school, similar to me in that summer, I have this relationship. Now when I go step on the campus, I'm not looking around like, what's going on? And everything in my life, I've just taken a little page out of it and go, oh, I was helped this way, I was helped this way and that way. And that's how we created this foundation. And some of the things that, I've accomplished lately, I was like top 50 Santa Cruzian. I was like, I don't know who voted me in, but from Good Times, but I really appreciate it, because I don't do things really for awards, but just to be noticed by Good Times. But the thing that was dear to me and got me really emotional, I was there on the front page with my mentor, Tony Hill. And I was like, wow, is this his way of, talking to me? Because he was the person that basically mentored me my whole time in Santa Cruz and gave me so many, gems of how I could help the community and help the youth. And to get that award, it was bigger than just getting the award. It was because they put his picture right here and it was my picture right here. And I had two kids, around me. And it was just like, wow, like looking at this picture where Tony he's not here in physical, but I know he's here in spiritual. And that like hit me in my chest. Like it literally did, that award, because it meant so much more than just getting the award. It was because I was on there with my mentor. So even getting emotional right now about that whole situation.
Oh man, I am too. I love
so
this.
so this foundation has just been going since 2018. We have over 300 kids. We have 7-on-7 football. We have flag. We're going to be having a new program this year, flag club. We do 2 all-star games, the basketball one, now the girls football, black football one. We have a basketball program. We have the education program where we take kids on HBCU tours and we take them to Morgan State. Right now, I have about 9 kids in Morgan State within 2 years. So I'm super
Wow.
excited about that. Going to have more kids going. Got one of the kids, Tyrese Lundy, the running back from Soquel High School. He's on the football team there. He's going to be a redshirt freshman this year. So I'm very excited about the opportunities. I'm going to hopefully be working with Cal, with Ron Rivera, developing their flag football Division I thing coming through the Storm. I'm on the advisory board of the Golden State Storm, where me and you met at the Women's
Yeah.
Alliance. I'm very excited about that with Stu Hurwitz. We're trying to work together and do some things with Starter and some of his companies. And just last week, I went up there for the tryouts, and the tryouts were awesome. And I was able to coach some of those women athletes that were very awesome and very cool, by the way.
Mhm.
So I'm just excited what has transpired in these last 2 years of RSF and myself, just school wise, getting my master's, people seeing the work that I'm putting in, calling me for advice, and able to do what I'm able to do here in Santa Cruz, working at Soquel. I still help Scotts Valley as much as I can, because Louis Walters was the person that gave me the keys to
Good guy.
some, yeah, great guy, to give me something to open up the door to get moving. and just all the support I get. Stu Hurwitz, Paul Locatelli, like I have Brian
Yeah,
DiDiego. I have some good teammates,
yeah, you do.
people, yeah, that help me, my directors. So yeah, that's a little bit about RSF and where we're going. And I would say what I would like to see is us be a big staple in women's sports, especially flag football. Like I feel like I have my niche with that. Like I feel like we could create a whole bunch of more opportunities for women getting scholarships out of this area to move on to help pay for their education in a different
I
sport.
think, well, with the Olympics coming up next year and flag
Mhm.
football, women's flag football being one of the events, I think that's just going to, now that can't hurt. We're just going to take a quick pause from this conversation to acknowledge our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. The Zelos Podcast is sponsored by Kinetic IQ, where intelligence meets motion. Kinetic IQ brings a biomechanics lab into the palm of your hand, letting you measure movement anytime, anywhere with just an iPad or iPhone. No wearables required. I've been using Kinetic IQ in my own practice, and whether you're screening athletes, optimizing performance, or guiding return to play, it helps practitioners like us save time, capture more objective data, and make instant actionable decisions. So to learn more about how Kinetic IQ is shaping the future of intelligent movement, visit kinetikiq.com. That's KINETIKIQ.com. At the forefront of Metabolic Elite is Jim Lavelle, internationally recognized clinical pharmacist, a chief science officer at Lifetime, and the co-chair for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. He's got over 4 decades of experience and has guided Olympic athletes, professional teams, and leading health institutions. You know what makes Metabolic Elite different is their commitment to real results. Like Lipitab, their proprietary solid-state liposomal delivery system. It's a chewable format which enhances absorption like nutrients like BPC 157 and synapses. They're delivered more efficiently in the body, supporting recovery, focus, cognitive health. Their formulas go beyond the basics, solving performance health challenges at the system level. Every product is tested for quality, it's backed by research, it's trusted by athletes and clinicians alike. Man, I'm just, there's so many things rolling through my head now. First of all, we've only met just recently, but I got to say, my love for you is just knows no borders. No, it's just the more you tell me about yourself, the more I love what you're doing and the person that you have become, the man you've grown into, and the things that you're doing for our community and basically for the world. Because you don't know where these kids are going to end up and the influence that they have on people,
Mhm.
which will just domino effect. It's just remarkable. Stu Hurwitz and I, we've been nearest and dearest friends. Like he's one of my best friends. He was the one that moved out here with me to Santa Cruz,
Yeah.
and we were roommates, 35 years ago or whatever. And it's so great to see. Here we are. Fast forward to today, the interconnected networks that are out there. I mean, just the fact you really helped to rebuild that Scotts Valley football program into a really strong team. And now you're not only spending some time there, but you're with Soquel High football, which they did remarkably well last season. And of course, head coach Dwight Lowery, another NFL player with the
Yeah.
Chargers. So, I mean, that to have a high school on a small coastal town in Central California known for surfing, not for football, but to have two former NFL players be on your coaching staff, the kids must just, I mean, they must look at you in ways that you probably you don't even know about. But for them to look up to you guys and to listen to every word, that's some powerful stuff, man. Just
Yeah,
something
it's
else.
yeah, me and Dwight have known each other for a long time, and yeah, I almost went over there earlier, but I had, this thing with a couple kids, the Ringo kids at Scotts Valley that I said, hey, I'm gonna ride it out until you graduate. because I'm loyal to kids too. Like I'm just not gonna up and leave you. And the time was for me to move on because I had spent so many years there at Scotts Valley, and I did want to like work with Dwight and help him because I come from a foundation kind of background, and I'm a coach, but there's these other things that I do that I know I could assist and help him with to help him have even more stability over there with his foundation of building that program to even bigger things than just Soquel football. There's other sports over there too as well that I know Dwight want to see everything elevates, not just the football program. And he's so detailed in his work and what he do. The coaching staff's great. The kids are great that want to play football. That's where they go. And it's like Santa Cruz High. It's a basketball school, or certain schools a baseball school.
Yeah.
And if you're
Soquel is water polo.
and it's water polo as well. So, and that's kind of like what this area has become. I would love to see every team on functioning on a high level. I would love to see that because back in my day, it was that way. And then somehow these leagues broke up and did this and did that. And then, oh, I'm going to go here to this school. I'm going to go here to that school. And then that's where kind of like things kind of like took all these little roads and stuff. And I, in my goal to see, I would love to see every school locally functioning on top, you know. But you take a school like Santa Cruz High School that was playing in the Gablin, playing at schools like Salinas and Hollister having success, and then the other school to do that was Soquel High School. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any others. Aptos. Aptos did it, and they dominated. Blankenship dominated for a long time. So when you can
Yep.
see a local school over here go over in the Monterey area and have success, and Salinas area, that's a big deal because
It's
we're
huge.
we're giving up maybe 1,000 students, maybe 1,500 of what they have over there. Facilities they have there, everything that they have there is a little bit higher and more than what we have over here. So then coaches have to really dig in, and when you're at that level, that means you're really, really honing in, and the kids are focused on what they want to do in building a program. So to me, it's just like I want to be a part of that. I would love to be, be the underdog and go knock off the top dog because that's what I was and that's what Dwight
Yeah.
was. So anytime I could be
Well,
a part, Scotts Valley has done that for years, where
mhm.
small little school, 22, 23 man roster, we roll in there, not looking like much, but coached up and disciplined. And I got a kick out of that, and that helped me become a really good coach. Coached at Cabrillo too for 3 years, had a great experience there under Darren Arbet. Um, but yeah, I just in this area, like the one thing that I don't want people to get caught up on is like, oh yeah, you might coach at Soquel or Scotts Valley, whatever. No, I'm here for the community because if a kid from Harbor, PV, whatever, go on and have success, and I was able to help that kid, it's not about me. It's about that kid needed that extra boost. You know what I mean? That kid needed that phone call, that email that I could actually do. Doesn't mean it has to go to Soquel, doesn't mean it has to go to Scotts Valley or Santa Cruz High or whatever situation is. And I've been able to do that and have success with that. And I'm going to continue to do that because our community and our area means a lot to me, especially giving the kid the opportunity, because that's what I was able to get was an opportunity. A coach made a call from me. And once again, here it is. I'm just, doing the same thing that was done for me, and I get a kick out of that because it's my way of paying back the person that did it for me.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things that's so endearing to me about Santa Cruz is the community. I mean, I don't think I've ever lived anywhere where it is so deep and so rich and supportive. I mean, with programs like yourself and so many others, every aspect of my life, I have so many different silos of communities within Santa Cruz that I just, you know, I can't get over. I pinch myself every day, whether it's within the school system or surf or fitness or other business community and so on. It's so supportive. I just can't get over it. So
Yeah,
speaking
and the
of
people that
support,
move here, and the people that move here too, um, the people that move here, like yourself, and like a Stu, and like myself, somehow we end up finding each other.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Santa Cruz. Like I sit on so many boards and so many meetings and this and that, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of transplants, and we get woven into the Santa Cruz way or the community way, which I love too. Because some people can move here and just be not on that wavelength or not on one accord. And I want to say a lot to you because I've heard a lot of great things about you and that what you've done in our community. And just being able to meet you and be on the same wavelength in this community of the work I do and the work you do, I just want to say, hey, I salute you as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Tell us how we can support the Reggie Stephens Foundation. Like for listening audience, obviously financial support. How do you donate to the foundation? But are there
Um,
other ways?
Yeah, you can go on the website, reggiestephens.org. That's Reggiestephens.org. We're actually doing a fundraiser for flag football and the Morgan State trips. We're trying to raise money. We do things through grants. If there's grant information that you could give us, you can email us about the grants. Corporate sponsorships, we're always looking for corporate sponsorships because we can now take your logo and put it on the kids' uniforms, our travel teams and whatnot. Social media outlets, any of those things. My kids are walking billboards. But at the end of the day, if we can bring more things to them, it's great because I always love to gift them sweatshirts, help them get cleats, help them get things that maybe their parents can't afford, scholarships for kids. Every year I'm needing a scholarship because some of this stuff, I got to pay for its gym time, uniforms, all these things. And when a kid walks up to the Reggie Stephens Foundation, whether they have the money or not, I tell the parent, don't worry about it. I'm going to fundraise the money. If you're a child and you have financial difficulty, don't worry about that. Your kid's going to get the same thing every other kid got, whether they can afford it or not. And we've done a really good job of that. Balanced. Our golf tournament is every year. It's at the end of July. If you've never played in it, that's a great way to support us as far as our fundraiser. But everything usually is on our website. And yeah, it's multiple different ways you can PayPal, Venmo, all those different things are set there on the website for easy access. And I think you can leave a note of like, oh, I want to go to the basketball program or the girls flag football, broken down that way. But any support that we get, we really, really, really appreciate it. And we just thank people for supporting the Reggie Stephens Foundation.
Okay, so the golf tournament in the summertime, is that at Pasatiempo?
No, we do it at Spring Hills in Watsonville.
Oh, nice. Spring Hills.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the golfers listening, you can come out to the Central Coast. You can support Reggie Stephens Foundation, and after you go to Spring Hills, you can travel about 30 to 40 minutes south and hit
Yeah.
Pebble Hills and Spanish Bay and all the ones you have been dreaming about too. So you can make an incredible time. Okay,
Yeah.
what about this, Reggie? Instagram and wait, we didn't even cover your music, dude. What about
Yeah.
like with style of music? Like where are you on? You must be having some stuff on
Yeah.
Spotify. And the fact that you
Spotify.
played with Ribsy's Nichols, I
Yeah.
had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, I pop in there every now and then. I have a bunch of different music. I have the stuff I do in Mexico City. It's just my name on Spotify. I did a song called Black Man in Mexico. Wrote the song about my experience in Mexico City, like how they treated me. So the next time I went back, I had a song for them. And every time I go there, I do 50 interviews. I'm on all their sports networks. I'm on all their like Good Morning Americas, everything. We have a publicist that do a really good job. I go with Greg Landau, One Drop Scott, Benito. He is in a group called Los Coalites that is a 3-time Grammy nominated. And that's the thing. I work with a lot of Grammy nominated and Grammy winners when I go to Mexico City. That's one side of my music. Then there's another side that I work with Bill Summers from the Headhunters, a jazz group that Herbie Hancock. I think I think Herbie Hancock started the group, but now Bill keeps the group going. That's called Forward Back. That's a project that I did about my spirituality. That is like the funny thing about this record, and we did vinyl. We had everyone put their ancestors on the back, and we live by our ancestors, trying to do good for our ancestors in some African tradition. So I did another project. It's called Forward Back. And that's on Spotify as well. But anything that I did with the Mexico City thing, that's just underneath my name, Reggie Stephens. And we have an EP coming out. I also am a Grammy voting member with the Grammys, that happened last
Oh,
year.
wow.
Yeah, Greg Landau helped me get into that. Um, so all of those things, like I said, they all run through the foundation. Anything that I get as a personal upgrade to my life, I kind of just put it in the foundation as another thing to help someone else. I'm always, because before I would try to like push all these different things, and I'm like, nope, everything's gonna go right there on the foundation. So if I go out and make money some type of way, here's my way to kick back to my foundation to help a kid. And it's just been it's been great because of the support that I get, and like how these parents send me messages. Like you're talking about fuel. That's the fuel.
Give me an
Like
example. What do you mean?
it's like, oh, like when I was at Sunday session, this kid named Ben, she plays at Santa Cruz High School. Her mom came in and go, "You have done an amazing job with my daughter." Like I'm like, okay, she shows up and she does the work. She goes, no, no, you don't understand her confidence, her leadership, and just went on and on and on and on and on. Or John Brown, what can I do to repay you for putting my son at Brown? That is now the leading running back in the division or whatever with touchdowns and all of these different things. Caleb Womack sending me nice messages. Hey, I sent something out for people to donate to RSF for all the work that you do. And then he's at San Jose State. So I get like, or I'm at women's flag football on Wednesdays. They play at Harbor or sometimes Aptos, and the parents come up to me and go, "Oh my God, like the life of my daughter from your Sunday session workouts." And I'm like, wow, like that's amazing to me because I don't look for that. I don't
No.
the when you know what I look for is when I go there and they see me there. And I have to tell them, don't run over here because I don't want your coach getting mad at, like undermining the coach, right? And they see me, and Joel Domhoff has been great with helping me too. Joel Domhoff, he has the GP Foundation. They'll run over and give us the biggest hugs during the game. And I'm like, yo, go back. I'll talk to you after the game. And it just shows the love and the support that they have for us, just like we have for them. And then these parents show up at the Sunday sessions, and I don't know if you've been to Scotts Valley. It's that little soccer field that they have,
Yeah.
and the parents just sit along the outside with their cameras and they're just filming their kids. And then this morning I got a Preston Steely, Preston Dean. Um, they sent me something that we worked on, a kick return, like punt return, kick return, boom, he caught it, and boom. And I was like yelling at him, like, do it. And then the next week he did it and ran like a 60-yard kickoff return back. So
Love that.
the mom sent me what we worked on, and then also sent me what he did in the game. And
Oh,
I was
man.
like, she was just like, thank you. She always call me boss. She's like, thank you, boss, for your just showing up, because it's Sunday sessions is free. There's no money
Yeah,
involved.
yeah.
There's no money involved, and I try to do everything with no money involved. That's why I fundraise and I do all these different things for these kids, so it's not about money. Um, and those are the things that, like, boy, like, get to me. It really, really gets to me. Or I'm at a game, Reggie. I'm looking around these little kids, these Pop Warner kids. Um, that's the stuff that I go, I'm doing the right work. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's what gets me up, my ailing body that's beat up, to go out and show up on Sunday. I get up at 6:30 in the morning, pack the truck up, all the stuff, lay it out, listen to Marvin Gaye as I'm laying it all out, and then the kids start trickling in. They start trickling in.
Man,
And before you know it,
man.
once we start to warm up, my energy level shoots boom through the roof, like I'm doing for the first time. Every Sunday, it jumps. But on the way there, I'm like, whoo. And then
Oh,
it just, because I might coach a Saturday night game or a Friday night, and then I might go to flag football on a Wednesday night. So I'm just on my feet constant, but I got to show up for those kids because they got to
yeah.
see me,
That's your
and
spiritual
I got to see
deposit.
me. Yeah.
Anytime we're kind of like dragging our heels to get to somewhere, and then
Yeah.
and then the energy comes. That's spiritual. deposits big time. That's goodwill right there.
Yeah.
And man, it's so cool. And again, for like the listening audience, if you're wondering, Santa Cruz, we are on the northern cusp of Monterey Bay, and we're bordered inland by the Santa Cruz Mountains. On the other side is the $1 trillion economy of Silicon Valley, which
Yeah.
you and I have seen erupt over the last 30 years
Yeah.
here, to the point where I want to bring that up because a lot of the families you're talking about are the local families that may not commute over the hill for those high paying jobs, but nonetheless that wealth has been a tsunami over the mountains into Santa Cruz, and has it made it very, very challenging for the average person to figure out how to afford to stay in the community and how to raise kids. So it's not like there's a whole bunch of affluent young people in our community. There are there, but I think a high majority of the kids that you're talking about, these are the families that mom and dad are working their tail feathers off so that they can provide for their family. And it doesn't, because of the high cost of living where we live here, it doesn't afford for a lot of things. So,
Yes.
the stuff that you're doing, man, is so needed. It's so desperately needed. I can't impress upon it enough. I mean, so you're one of our
I appreciate it.
superheroes, brother. You really
I'm
are.
having fun. But I didn't make it up. It was Santa Cruz community. There was a handful of people that helped me to
Yeah,
be able to be the person I am today, and show me love and show me support from all different backgrounds of people, to give me that I could trust. And then I said, I want to be something that the community could trust and the kids can trust. So it was passed down. I don't know which one of these next kids that came through my foundation is going to do the work that I'm going to do. I believe it'll be somebody, though. I
yeah.
believe it. I believe it will, just from me showing up and showing them, this is important. And that's what was shown to me. And then next thing you know, I'm doing it. So I would love to thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Uh,
Anytime I could be on a podcast, tell my story. It gets me closer to people that don't know about the Reggie Stephens Foundation or myself. So I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to be here to speak with you this morning. I just want to say thank
Brother, it's my joy. I'd love to be part of your army of support. So if you've got any kind of silent auctions going on, you can hit me up anytime for that. Or if you need
you.
me to
Okay,
come over to the field with you and Dwight or whatever, I'm around, man. You just
perfect.
let
Yeah,
me
I'm
know
gonna
how
definitely
I
be
can
hitting you up.
support you.
I'm gonna
Okay.
definitely hit you
Well,
up.
I know you got a full day ahead of you, so I'm going to let you go. This has been a great conversation, but we'll stay in touch, obviously, and feel out how we can continue to do what we're both doing and support this community.
All right, thank you. Have a blessed day.
Now, that was a great conversation. I really appreciate Reggie for coming on, and I just can't thank him enough. I'm looking forward to doing some work with him in the future, and it's always great to meet a colleague who turns into a friend, and I'm sure you're going to do the same this week. Until next Monday, go out there and make it a good one. Here's a little bit of words from our sponsors one more time. Remember to check out metabolicelite.co. Check out all the products they have on their website. Synapsin Pro is something I've been using to help stay focused without having to over-caffeinate myself. It keeps me in the zone so I can just really hone in on the things I need to achieve without feeling like, man, I gotta reach for an energy drink every 5 minutes. Metabolicelite.co. And don't forget, Kinetic IQ. They've got markerless motion capture for morons like me. I can use their product with my iPhone or my iPad. I can look at posture analysis, movement analysis of any exercise, gait analysis. It gives me everything I could possibly want when tracking people's movements. So, check out kineticiq.com.